On your November ballot, Proposition 35 would impose a healthcare tax in the state of California. But the ballot title is false and misleading. You wouldn't know it's a tax increase. Coming up, we'll tell you all about the false and misleading ballot title on Prop 35, why you should vote against it, and how you can join the fight to keep healthcare costs low. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California, and in this November's ballot, the politicians are at it again. They are lying to people, bald-faced lying to people with false and misleading ballot titles on state and local ballot propositions. They're trying to hide the tax increases by not disclosing that a measure has a massive tax increase hidden in it. They're also trying to defeat good policy by putting titles on that would be sinister and nefarious. And so at Reform California, we offer the Plain English Voter Guide, and we're covering all of the ballot propositions in a simple manner so that you know what you're voting on and can confidently cast your ballot in this election. We're going to talk about Proposition 35 in this show, but we have videos on all the propositions online at reformcalifornia.org. Check out that site. Also, check out our full Plain English Voter Guide that we give out every election. It's online at reformcalifornia.org. Please sign up at the bottom of reformcalifornia.org to get the electronic versions of the voter guide for your area. We send it over text and email to you. And please chip in a contribution so that we can mail out the voter guides to target voters statewide, and we can continue to do this important work for you. So today we're talking about Proposition 35. It is actually a healthcare tax increase. The deceptive title mentions nothing about the tax increase. In fact, it makes it sound pretty good. The title that you see on your ballot, again, false and misleading title, says Prop 35 provides permanent funding for Medi-Cal health care services, initiative statute. I mean, you think about Medi-Cal. Everyone likes Medi-Cal. Everyone likes healthcare services, provides permanent funding. This is amazing, right? These liars, cheats, and thieves, these criminals who run our California elections and our politicians who literally lie to us on these ballot measures. Prop 35 is actually a tax on healthcare. It permanently imposes a tax on healthcare, specifically managed care organizations, MCOs. And most of you are getting your insurance through an MCO, a managed care organization. This tax increase is set to expire. It was put in place a few years ago. And it's really, it's a bait and switch type tax increase. What the politicians did is they announced that they're going to increase taxes on these managed care organizations, these health insurance organizations. And that would allow them then to go to the federal government and get more money for covering healthcare services in California, because the federal government does something called reimbursement rates. And when you increase a tax on an organization, it affects their reimbursement rates. Okay. You make something more expensive. The federal government then has to shell out more money. So in other words, you, the taxpayer, have to shell out more money, because remember, you're not just a state taxpayer, you are a federal taxpayer. So you're going to have to pay more in federal taxes, or they're going to print more money and make inflation worse, which means you're going to have a higher cost of living. There is no free lunch. Okay. The socialists say that there's a free lunch, but there's not. And it will end up increasing your overall debt at the federal level, your overall tax burden at the federal level, and it will cheapen your money and increase the cost of living. Really a bad concept. Prop 35 makes that tax increase permanent. But it also does a couple things that I actually like, but again, because it has a tax increase in it, I have to say no to this thing. I don't trust state politicians to provide proper and adequate reimbursement rates to doctors, healthcare organizations, insurance companies in the state of California when they're providing a state reimbursed service, like Medi-Cal, by the way. These doctors, these healthcare organizations are absolutely sucker punched with costly regulations that are unnecessary. and it causes their costs to go up. And so they're going to the state of California saying, you passed a law that is stupid. It costs everyone more money. It also costs you, the state of California, more money. So you need to reimburse me more money for providing the service, or else I go bankrupt and I can't do the service. So as part of this MCO tax, an agreement was made a few years ago that the doctors and that the healthcare organizations would get slightly better reimbursement rates. Still not, in my opinion, meeting the need given all the regulations. I think we need to slash regulations, make things more inexpensive for everyone involved. And we have a plan to do that. But what I like about Prop 35, again, the tax increase means we vote no. But what I like about it is that they do have worthy provisions that would make it harder for politicians to gut and cut reimbursement rates to these healthcare providers. Again, my view is if the government requires a bunch of stupid regulations, they shouldn't be able to do that and then turn around and say, oh, by the way, we're requiring that your costs go higher, but then we're going to slash your reimbursement rates. It's absolutely insane. And so Prop 35 is an unfortunate initiative because there are some good things in it that I hope will come back in a future initiative. And I fully expect it will come back in a future initiative. But I cannot support a tax increase. And I urge you not to support making permanent this sort of tax increase. It's bad economic policy, bad fiscal policy. There are better ways to provide more cost-efficient healthcare services than to raise this tax. So vote no on Prop 35. Spread the word that it is a tax increase. It's not just a feel-good measure to provide permanent funding for Medi-Cal healthcare services. And again, this is why we put out our plain English voter guide at reformcalifornia.org. And I really encourage you to check it out, reformcalifornia.org. Sign up at the bottom so that we can send you over text and email the voter guide when your ballot arrives. And you'll get updates on how to track your ballot throughout the election. Also, chip in a contribution. Help us do this work. Our voter guide also endorses better candidates for state assembly, state senate, city council, judgeships, school board races up and down the state of California. So chip in a contribution. Help us do this work at reformcalifornia.org. Share the full voter guide. If you take a look online, the voter guide is online electronically. We've got California statewide voter guide and all these regional voter guides, but you can actually see all of the ballot measure plain English titles and summaries that we've developed here, plus all of our candidate endorsements online at reformcalifornia.org. Click under voter help and click under voter guides. Until next time, Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California. Help us break through the censorship of the liberal media. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, and smash that notification button so you can stay up to date on all the developments in California news and politics. Also, please visit the website, reformcalifornia.org, for ongoing news coverage and to join one of our campaigns in the fight to take back our state. If you can, please sign up as a volunteer or chip in a contribution. This episode of Reform California with Carl DeMaio, paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly 2024.